Hello, good evening, and welcome to the FB4 Daily on Sunday night. It is the 8th of March, I think, and Liverpool stand on 82 points in the Premier League table, 25 points clear of Manchester City after their defeat at Old Trafford today. They're 2 wins away from winning the league title, and we don't know when they're going to do it. We try and make a prediction, but Liverpool Football Club will end a 30-year wait for a league title. That I can guarantee you. Here we go. And here we go, the Fatback 480 for your Sunday night. And after everything that's happened this weekend, massive sneeze in the background there from somebody, for everything that's happened this weekend, Liverpool beating Bournemouth at home and Manchester United putting City away 2-0 at Old Trafford today. Liverpool stand on the brink of a first league title in 30 years. We've all seen this coming from a long way out, but it became very, very, very real today. I think because, you know, we've gone through a little bit of a sticky patch. We managed to get past Bournemouth, and then that happens to City today. And Liverpool stand 2 wins maximum away from their first league title in 30 years. With me, I have the man, the myth, and the man that just likes cabbage water. It is Keith. Keith, it did become very real today, didn't it?
It did, Gav. Yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to sort of realise how close it is now. You know, as you said, it's been close for a long time. The race, it's been a one-horse race for a long time, but we're getting there now. You know, it's at the stage now where can we win it without even playing a game now?
If they lose the next 2, we could, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really is there. And the way they're shaping up, you know, you wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe dropping points. I don't think they'll be beaten twice, but I think they could drop points in one of their games. That it's just getting every bit closer now, and it's starting to get a bit surreal. You know, as I said, we've been dealing with it for so long that it shouldn't be this surreal. But I think it's everyone is starting to come around to it now. You know, some of us were thinking it for a long time. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But now it's really starting to look like it's any day now.
Do you know the way sorry, there's loads of comments coming in here, and I will get to them. I'll read a few before I get to the question to you. 2 more wins. Arsenal will get something against City Wednesday, meaning we could win at Goodison. That's the dream. Anthony Lundgren just shouts Corona. Don't worry about it. It'll be absolutely fine. Let me see. The Coke and noodles are in the pot as we speak. It's time to celebrate, says Dylan. Massive Sunday night for Dylan. If they lose the next 2, it's done, says Porgo Callan. I don't think they are going to lose the next 2. All I'm focusing on really is just beating Everton and then see where we are. I think it'll go down to Palace. That's my shout at the moment, but let's wait and see. But I think it's come into sharp focus, Keith. Now, look, don't get me wrong. We've gone from, you know, I think we go 9 points clear to City when we beat them earlier on in the season, and we're kind of going, that's great. And then I think we're about 13 clear when we beat Leicester on the 26th of December. And then we build up a lead. It goes 19, it goes 22. We lose a game, but then they aren't playing, so we go to 25 points, which I think, and they've 2 in hand. It's now 25 points and they have a game in hand. And I think because of that little blip we had, and then just fighting for a win against Bournemouth, let's be honest about it, you're kind of going, yeah, are we back on track? And then that happens today. You're kind of going, the perfect storm of the weekend, isn't it? That's really what it is.
It really is, yeah. I mean, yeah, the performance, I don't think it was that bad against Bournemouth. You know, it certainly wasn't great. It certainly wasn't back to our best, but I thought it was better than the last few games we maybe struggled a bit more than we would have liked. But, you know, to get to that, and the talk was, right, 25 points, but City have 2 games in hand, and by the time Liverpool play, City will have cut this lead down to, and people are doing the maths on what City will definitely have had the lead down to. Do you know? I said it the other night on the show. I fancied United to get something today out of City for some. I just don't know. They look like they were on the up.
You were right. I was wrong because I didn't fancy them at all.
Yeah, it was just one of them. I don't know. They're in a bit of form, and they seem to have a bit of an Indian sign over City at the moment. And I just thought, you know, everyone was assuming that City were just going to keep winning and winning, and the proof hasn't really been there. They've not been great, you know. Well, we haven't been great, and the thing I'd say about Liverpool is, you know, name me any Premier League team that hasn't gone through a little blip. Do you know what I mean? And that's all we're in at the moment. Or any league winning, doesn't have to be Premier League. You know, every team goes through. The best teams that win leagues go through a period of a couple of games where they struggle and they might drop a few points, or they might scutter over the line in some of their games. But, you know, they all do it, and this is ours at the moment. Now, the timing of it, you know, we could do without with the Atletico game on the horizon. We could do it, you know, coming back in. But maybe this is a shot in the arm that we needed for the Atletico game. As you say, perfect storm of a weekend to come out. The boys must be sitting there now thinking, right, this is one hand on that trophy now, and we can look forward to Atletico. We said it as well the other night, Gav. If we can get past Atletico, the whole thing opens up again. Do you know what I mean? It really does.
Do you know what? Like you're saying, it was better against Bournemouth, and we will touch on the game. But I think just what's occurred today, kind of, me and you spoke earlier about this, what we do on this show, and we just want to be excited, don't we? That the actual football kind of goes away. You just want to get excited.
Yeah.
But I thought of something earlier, and I thought, do you know something? City doing what they've done today. Don't get me wrong. If they'd have won today, right, and say lost in 2 games' time and handed us the title, you go, fair enough. But it would have been after the Atletico Madrid game.
Yeah.
But what they've done today, for me, now it could be completely miles off, and I usually am, but I'm going to stick with it anyway because it hasn't failed me yet. I'm still here. I think they've sparked Liverpool back into life by what they've done today. For the simple reason being, the pressure's off Liverpool now. Because if City had kept winning, right? Now I know there's a massive gap, don't get me wrong. There's a massive gap, but Liverpool would have had to drag out. If you know, it would have dragged out. Say Liverpool lost another game or 2, it would have dragged right out past the City game, and you know, onto whatever games are after that, Brighton and Villa and things like that. And it just gets dragged out that little bit more, and Liverpool are just waiting to get over the line. But what they've done today, they've given Liverpool an absolutely massive shot in the arm by going, listen, everything is on Atletico Madrid now. That league, they're gone. They're done with. Do you think... I think City have given Liverpool a massive shot in the arm, not only for the league, because they wrap it up easily enough now, you know, without any bother, but for the Champions League, they're going, lads, we can just pile everything at this now, because City are gone.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. It's as you, again, going back to what you said, it is the perfect storm. I mean, I think Shawnee put it in the group earlier as well about, or somebody put it in the group about them cancelling games due to, you know, playing games behind closed doors, and looking at that from April. But the fact that City lost today meant that we can win the league wrapped up in March. You know, everything is just, today is after throwing everything sort of back into place. Do you know what I mean? That's worked out good for us, and it has given us that.
The slog
little
doesn't
injection.
feel a slog, doesn't it? Now?
Yeah, exactly. It's and as I agree with you there. If it had have been, you know, after the Atletico game, that's, you know, the going into that with the mindset of nearly like fear. Even though I think we will win a home leg in the European game to overturn a 1-goal deficit, that is like what Liverpool are all about, to be honest. But the form we've been in has been a bit worrying in that sense, that you'd be, you know, going into it nearly with a bit of trepidation, whereas now you're going in, as you said, we're going in with the heads up. Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, the pressure's off. Let's go for this. The league is wrapped up. Let's go for this European Cup and see if we can get another one of them on the board.
Just to let people know, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like button. It's very important. Our man that looks after all this is you need to tell people to hit the like button, hit the bell icon so you know when we go live, and also subscribe. That's what to do. He's going to check on all these on Twitter to see if you've shared it onto your timeline, so don't make him go investigating you. Lash it onto your Twitter as well while we're here. Megan McCallion asks, is anybody worried about games being played behind closed doors? I think it will happen.
Yeah, they think it will.
I think it will happen. It's just a case of when. So Liverpool would probably be looking to get Everton out of the way, and maybe Palace if needs be. That's the way they're looking at. Juventus versus Inter was played, of course, behind closed doors tonight. It was very strange.
It's horrific.
Said Stephen.
It's horrific.
It's not good. Games behind closed doors takes away the home advantage, says Kev O'Sullivan. It's a
Yeah.
big issue. Chris Brack reckons it'll be a 4-1 win on Wednesday night.
I like his optimism.
We'll definitely give a prediction before we'll definitely give a prediction before the end of this show, because the club is on tomorrow night, and then I won't be back on until the night of the show. You know what I mean? But just the way this has fallen into place, like I want to talk to you about people trying to put this whole league title down, right?
Yeah.
Now there's an ongoing
big bugbear of mine at the moment.
Yeah,
This.
There's an ongoing discussion in our WhatsApp group right now as we speak with regards to this, and the overwhelming feeling inside that group is, who cares what people think? And I get that, but is this everyone's worst nightmare coming true? Because, like, I'm 38 years of age, right? I was whatever 8 years of age when we won. Great maths, Gav. When we last won a league title, right? I remember winning it in 89-90.
Yeah.
But when I think back through those 30 years, I think of, don't get me wrong, around 96, 97 we had a chance to win the league, and there wasn't much made of it. They're only 6-7 years out from a league title. There's no big deal, because of the 26 or whatever years United had to wait from the time Busby was in charge right until 92, 93. But as this went on, it was you're only winning the odd League Cup, you're only winning the odd FA Cup. 2001 changed that all a bit with the UEFA Cup and obviously the two domestic titles. We went a couple of years, we win a European Cup, great. FA Cup the following year, great. And then it's 2012 as a League Cup now until the recent period. But this feels like it's the last stick that they had to beat us with.
Yeah, and that's why they're all going apeshit over it.
Isn't it very strange what people are doing? Yeah. Like I seen a thing, and I didn't respond to it, but it was it was some idiot that plays FIFA or something on Sky, and he was saying like Liverpool are bottling it and no one cares about the league, and I kind of looked at him and went, well, why don't you care? Because I can guarantee you, on August 9th or 10th last season, when the season started, you most definitely cared. It's just your club have let you down, and now you don't care, so it doesn't really matter what else is going on. Is it end of the world stuff for a lot of people? That's probably what I'm trying to ask you.
It is, yeah. And I mean, for a lot, I shared that video on my Twitter timeline, that clown saying that. And, a lot of people don't seem to care. They're all talking about it. Do you know what I mean? They're all trying to play it down like it's some freak season, and we've gone through it all. We've gone through VAR is helping them. We've gone through the worst Premier League in living history, even though it's on par with every other Premier League position-wise except for ourselves. We've gone through that. We're now going through, these games are going to be behind closed doors. You can't shake hands. You can't do this. Sure, nobody cares about football anymore. Well, look, I care about football. Do you know what I mean? Look, I'm older than you, and I remember the last time we won the league, and I'll be celebrating that. I care, and everyone I know cares. So I don't buy into this nonsense that's being peddled, and it's being peddled right. You get the clowns on Twitter that'll say it, and you'll get, Twitter's it's a vacuum of nonsense on there, and any old shitebag can say what they want. But there's a lot of people that should have a bit more sense at saying the same sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. But no, it's doing my head in at the moment. They're trying to play it down as being some sort of nonsense.
Yeah, no, it's mad. Like it's like Stephen O'Connor says, a title win at Goodison or Guard of Honour at the Etihad. This is nuts, lads. It really is. Luke reckons everyone is rattled and he loves it. Let me see. Darren Dunbar says, after seeing the likes of Julian Dix, Konchesky play for Liverpool, we should be embracing these times. Rival fans are obsessed with us, always have been, says Owen Book. Dylan O'Rourke says, let me say, this no handshake stuff is ridiculous. Yeah.
It is scandalous.
There's so much physical contact in a game, but you can't shake hands. It's a bit mad. Let me see. Stats also debunk the weak league nonsense, said Morbid Angel. The funny thing was, I was thinking back to this, and do you remember going back to, was it 4 years ago, Leicester won the title, 2016? Yeah. And I would have said that was a poor league.
Oh, it was a terrible league. Right. Me and my wife are only talking about this. She's like, who was chasing Leicester that year? I think it was Spurs and Arsenal. I says there was a lot of change and turmoil that year. I think that was Klopp had only come in that that October, hadn't he, the year they'd won it, so we were only really adjusting. But it was a poor league. They won it. What was their points total? 82
81,
or
I
something,
think.
was it?
I think they won
something
on
like that.
79.
Yeah.
And they finished with 82 or something like that. So something along them lines.
You know, it wasn't great. But you forget about the actual football and the games and the level, because the story was Leicester, a team came from nowhere and won. Now, look, we're not Leicester because we're a behemoth of a club, you know what I mean? We're not some small fry, came from nowhere. But our story should be just as celebrated, you know what I mean? I don't want to say a sleeping joint because we've won a lot of trophies over the years, but this has been the one that deluded us for 30 years. And the fact, I don't think, and maybe I'm paranoid, just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean I'm not right, you know what I mean? I don't think we're getting enough credit or enough praise in certain parts of the media, not social media. Social media is full of wallies, but in the media I don't think we're getting enough credit. People seem to be looking for us to fail all year. They've been looking for excuses.
Like Morbid Angel says, Leicester won the title with 81 points, 2 more points than the treble winning United side. So like, if you win it with 81 points, is it more, competitive? Or is it a case of you won it with 81 and the likes of Chelsea, United, Arsenal, City, Liverpool getting less than that is actually a bit ridiculous, when you look for the whole lot of them to get that. Now, don't get me wrong, Leicester won a league, they fairly won a league, they played 38 games and they got the most points. You know exactly. The way. So, I don't know, like, you can shift an argument any way you want, I could tell you that was a weak league, right? I could see Liverpool doing 109 points they can get, isn't there? Something like that at this stage.
Yeah.
I could see Liverpool doing, say, 105, for argument's sake, drawn 2 games. And people say, weak league. And I go, well, if you take Liverpool out of it, City will probably finish around the 85, 86 point mark. City won it with 86 points, I think, the year they beat us in 2013-14. And no one said it was a weak league.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's I think these, and don't get me wrong, I think when City won with 100 points, I never thought that's a weak league. I thought they're just fucking ridiculous.
And I didn't hear anyone else saying it was a weak league.
You know
Do you know what I mean? Didn't hear anyone else saying it was a weak league then when they were 20 odd points ahead of, well, what they were doing it by 18 or something, was it, ahead of United?
Something like that, 82 I think United ended up on, yeah.
But, nobody was mentioning anything about it being a weak league, but all of a sudden, and it's very unfair, you know what I mean, for a team not to be getting the widespread acclaim, because you can throw more context onto this again. City won that league with 100 points. They were built up through heavy investment. Look, we all know what City were built up by. They got in the best coach in the world, who they thought, Guardiola, got him in. Well done. They cakewalked the league and everyone praised them. And look, I praised them as the best Premier League team I've ever seen, because they absolutely steamrolled it. I said, there's no Premier League team in the past. Man United's treble winners, Chelsea under Mourinho, none of them are as good as this Man City team. And I thought it'd take something special to dethrone them. And we have absolutely kicked the shit out of them. Last season, the pressure we put on them last season to go to 97 points meant they couldn't take their foot off the gas, and that's what they're catching up on them this year.
Like Chris Brack says, our title win shines a light on the likes of Man United, Spurs, Chelsea and Arsenal, as apart from United, they all have less spending power than City, so why can't they compete with City like we have? Morbid says people think the strength of the league is dependent on how Man United and Arsenal season pans out, but you could easily flip that and say United's success in the 90s coincided with Liverpool's decline. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good point. Lubac says when City had 100 points, they were worshipped by the mainstream media. I think there's more to it. You see, Lubac, the way I look at it is, right, they could look at City with 100 points and go, oh, they're brilliant. And they were. Don't get me wrong. They were an outstanding football side. And last season they were as well. But Liverpool has way more history to it. There's way more weight behind the league title for Liverpool. That's just a simple fact of the matter. That's just football. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Keith said, a behemoth of a club. And when they come back and do that, people rattle. And they really do rattle. It's just one of those. Luke says 4 English teams in the 2 European finals last year. It can suddenly become a weak league. I think he's right there as well. Yeah. Jono from the Financial Times on another show last week explaining how the gap from top to bottom has closed financially. It maybe has. I'm not too sure on that. Premier League, Super Cup, World Club Cup, and earliest Premier League finish and highest points ever, 103 plus, etc. That is a phenomenal marker that won't be broken anytime soon, says Maverick. I can't see it being broken. But you see, the thing is, people will say, oh, City have lost this amount of games and that's why Liverpool have looked so good. No, City have lost so many games, and I genuinely believe this. Like you said, Keith, Liverpool put a pressure on them last season. Like I don't think anyone's put a pressure on them in winning the league.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, they came from behind in 2012. I think they were 8 points behind with 6 games to go when they pipped United with that Aguero goal, right?
Yeah.
It was nip and tuck with Liverpool, but they always felt like they could win more games than Liverpool. That's just the way it was, right? In 2013-14. But last season was the one where from miles out they were just chased and chased and chased. And it was a proper ding-dong battle. You know, Liverpool came in 2013-14, Liverpool lose the league by 2 points. But you have to remember, Liverpool, I think after beating Arsenal in early January, I think ended up getting within 5 points of the leaders, Arsenal. So it wasn't like it was a ding-dong between them and Arsenal. It was a mad season. Last season, huge pressure Liverpool put on them. I think Liverpool mentally broke Manchester City this season, and a lot of City's defeats would have been down to watching what Liverpool were doing. So to say City have been poor, yes, they have. They've lost more games. That's simple. But I think they have mentally not been able to stand up to what Liverpool have done this season. I could be wrong. People might disagree, but that's what I feel it is. Stephen,
I couldn't agree more. No, I think you're spot on that. I with that, Gav. I think it's the pressure that we put on. You can't say that City, right, they might have lost games, but they didn't lose games by suddenly becoming poor. They lost games because there was a relentless pressure on them from us. And, all the other clubs should be, and the media should be lauding what Liverpool done. Because who wants to see a team running away every year with the financial backing that City have, with the financial doping that does go on, and winning the league by 18, 20, 25 points. Who wants to see that? Nobody challenging. And that's what there was a chance of that happening. Do you know what I mean? While United were getting that busy, scratching their arses for a few years till they got their fingers out. Because realistically, they were the only ones financially that could challenge them. But Liverpool have done it. And then they should be getting lauded by all corners for how they've done it. And how they've turned it around and how they've transformed to get them in the position that they are now. And that's what sickens me, is they don't get that credit from other clubs, from the media, not other clubs, but you know what I mean, the fandom and all that. They should all be saying, well, if Liverpool can do it without having to get a bleeding Arab or a Russian oligarch owner or the Chinese money, anyone can do it. And
it's I know where you're coming from, because when you look at Juventus in Italy, right? They have the biggest fan base. They have the most money. They go and win the league year after year after year.
Yeah.
Okay. If you look in Germany, for the majority of the time, Bayern Munich have the most money, the biggest following. They go and win it year after year. Now they're in a bit of a battle this year, but they usually come out on top. I think they've won. Have they won 5 or 6 on the trot now in Germany? Borussia Dortmund may have broken that with KLOPP, but other than that, they've won.
No, I think then Guardiola came in and then got it back, wrestled it back from KLOPP, and won a few in a row.
That's what I'm saying. The last time might have been Dortmund, and that they're fairly dominant. PSG is the same in France. Even if you look at Scotland, it's Celtic just dominate there and will win their 9th title in a row. But you can throw the stuff at the SPL that it's a poor league. But usually it's the person with the most money that wins it, right? That's the way it is. When you look at City, you go, don't get me wrong, if City went and won 4 or 5 on the trot and they were banging in 100 points every season, you go, well, it's not a poor league, it's just they're the outlier and there's no catching them. So I think you're right. The credit has to be given to, it has to be given to Liverpool to go, okay, yes, you're a massive club, but you're still ranking way behind City in what you can spend because of the infrastructure and the way these both clubs have been developed. And for Liverpool to go and do that, it's I think it's an amazing feat. I really do.
And not to do it by, sorry for cutting across you, not to do it by a fluke. It's not like Liverpool have just come from nowhere.
No, this is being built.
This has been building and building and building. It's on the back of a 97-point season and winning the Champions League. And another thing no one mentions is the fact that we had to go to Qatar and play the World Club Cup in the middle of the season. We had to go, not that we had to, you know what I mean, but we had to go and play a Super Cup in Turkey the first week of the season against Chelsea and still come back and keep winning and keep a momentum going. We've overcome a lot to get where we are. And I think we're entitled to be having a blip here, to be honest with you. I think they put the hard yards in, they've got where they are, but it's no fluke, it's no flash in the pan. This has built and built every year under Klopp, gradual increases, and to get where they are, no one can say, oh well, Liverpool just, City had an off year, Liverpool just got lucky. We didn't get lucky. We've been building this for a couple of years now, and we're getting our just desserts now, our awards.
Antico was saying that the French government look like they're about to announce that PSG versus Dortmund will be behind closed doors, and a huge advantage there, says his own book, for Dortmund if they have to travel there with no fans. Antico also says, by the sound of things, the Palace game could be in front of an empty stadium. I'd be very surprised if that happens. Right now, there's loads of stuff going in about. There's loads of stuff coming in here about who would just sign this, that, and the other. We'll get to that. We will get to that because we'll go for an hour, Keith, will we?
Yeah.
Let's talk about what players we'd like as well. Why not?
Yeah.
And we'll throw some random stuff in at the end. People just want the coronavirus to go away. Luke says every season under Klopp has been clear progression. Keith, we're getting that mad clicking noise in the background, just to let you know. This is not a poor league. Just look at the clubs at the bottom. Look how hard it's been. Teams have more money and more prepared than ever. Liverpool are simply the best, says Maverick. Yeah, I think it's absolutely fine. And you're bang on with what you're saying. Seeing someone say Spurs game could be off. They are away in Germany against Leipzig.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Are the Germans pulling games now?
I haven't heard that there.
The Germans were playing league games today, so I thought it was more France and Italy that were shitting themselves over this. But you know, the empty stadium stuff, right? Palace, I'd be very surprised if Liverpool beat Everton next Monday and that game doesn't secure the title and it goes down to Palace at 5:30 on the Saturday.
Yeah.
There's not a hope in hell you stop Liverpool fans going into that ground.
Oh no.
And I just mean by a logistical fashion. I'll tell you why. It would be safer to have Liverpool fans in that ground than 100,000 of them to turn up outside
it. Yeah, because you can get guaranteed there'll be 100,000 plus outside the place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like don't get me wrong. This coronavirus for me, it's a serious thing, especially for elderly and people and stuff like that, and people with underlying health issues, and that's I'm absolutely that's common sense. Yeah, that's common sense.
But the flu is like that. You know what I mean?
But at the end of the day, if you're going anywhere and you're willing to wash your hands and be hygienic in whatever way, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. People walking around with masks. There's no point in wearing masks unless you have it. No point. It doesn't do anything for you. Because you have to put the mask on with your hands. And if you put the mask on with your hands and you've fucking been infected on your hands, the mask is not going to make a difference to you. Let me see. East of Germany. The eastern part of Germany not affected massively by the virus, says Maverick. 18-19 European champions, 19-20 Premier League champions, says Stephen Kingsley. He's just happy. Wacker says, I just want to win this league title ASAP because games will be behind closed doors after the Palace game. I think, Keith, would you reckon they're looking at it going, lads, we can close the stadium if these are winning the title?
Yeah,
do you reckon they're looking at it going, when Liverpool win this title, we're going to close stadiums, and the likes of away to Brighton, home to Villa, there might be a couple of games. Do you reckon they might be looking at it something like that? Because I genuinely, people would say, don't be fucking silly. If they have to close them, they close them. They won't care about Liverpool win the league. But it could become a health risk, for people outside the ground, 100,000 people turning up outside the ground for a game that's going inside because they're not willing to not see their team win a title.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, what people say it's a stupid point, but unless it's a worldwide ban blanket on all sporting events, I don't think they'll make that call, and certainly on Liverpool, if they've 2 games to win the league, we're going to put them behind closed doors now. I just can't see it happening that quickly. I think it will happen. I think we are going to be playing behind closed doors, but I think it's going to be further down the line. And I do think it's going to spoil some of what we will be looking forward to. We want to see Liverpool getting a guard of honour, for example, in the game after they
win
the league. And if they were to get that off Man City, look, Man City are a great side. They're a great side of champions. They will give a guard of honour. You don't want it in front of an empty stadium.
No.
Just no matter what the reaction is, you do not want to see that. But it is going to happen. You know, it is going to happen, but they have to start thinking. You know, is playing games behind closed doors the only solution here? Because
I don't know. Like Morbid Angel says, the mortality rate is low. Simeone apparently yesterday saying the game on Wednesday should be behind closed doors. He's
of
clearly
course
bricking
he's
it.
saying that. Yeah, of course. That's what I was just about to say. That we're lucky that there's no blanket on this, because it's going to be a huge advantage for us to get the crowd to try and lift it. You know, for the famous Anfield nights. Imagine the European night with no bleeding crowd.
Yeah. And like Kevin Sullivan says, the decision will be taken by government. It's not the league. If they do, then it'll be all events in the country. Behind closed doors will bankrupt a lot of lower league clubs. It could do. In big news, says Chris Brack, my daughter got player of the match in only her third game for Rainhill United Junior FC. Female
Great
Jamie
news.
Carragher just going around lumping people. Led deadly. We're all for
Great
that.
news.
Yeah, absolute massive congratulations to Chris's daughter on player of the game. Owen Bucks says never ever buying a Chinese takeaway again. If we have to do it before closed doors, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? We're not buying Chinese anymore because it was all. I blame Italy more than China. I'm being honest with you. I hope it doesn't affect the parade. I want to meet you guys in Pop World. No problem, Avo. We'll be over. We'll be over there anyway. So whether there's a parade or not, we'll be there.
Yeah.
Don't be worrying about it.
There'll still be a parade. They just might not be an official one.
Yeah,
There'll be
just-
some sort of 100, 700, 800,000 people getting in one place.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just loads of stuff going in here. Antico says Wolves are playing behind closed doors on Thursday in the Europa. Who have they got in the Europa?
Who are they playing? Jeez, I don't know.
I know, did they beat Espanyol or something in the last round?
They bet Espanyol. I can't remember who they got.
Yeah, there was a sharp corona increase today, says Lubac. But the thing is, like, the mortality rate is low. It's 2 to 3%. Flu is 0.1%.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be interesting to see what happens with the Euros, says Ella. It absolutely will, because and like then you look at Cheltenham, then you look at someone said there the Grand National is in jeopardy as well. But again, is the solution stopping people from gathering? Because I'll tell you why. I'll put it this simply, right? You'd have to close down city centres.
Yeah.
Right.
Close everything.
Right, because you're walking down the street, you have as much chance of someone sneezing on you or touching off your hand as you're going through a crowd in a busy city centre street as you do standing or sitting in a football ground.
Yeah.
You know,
There doesn't seem to be any thinking involved. You know, they're just rushing to this.
To me, like JJ Bab says, 65 million people, just over 200 people have got it. Let's calm down. For me, the whole thing is they're just waiting to see how severe this gets, how many people get it, and then they're reacting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Now, I think it's going to get, like, it is going to be an epidemic. There's going to be, I know in Ireland there's not that many cases confirmed.
19.
There'll be thousands confirmed in the next couple of weeks, I think. Like, it's there. It's going, once it's there, it's there. But as we said there, you know, the mortality rate, it's even the solution, self-isolate, don't even go to the hospital, just stay indoors, you know, just stay in. That's it.
What you would do if you had the flu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it could be a massive overreaction. Now, again, I don't want that to be too flippant, because people are dying over it. And, you know, I'm not saying, you know, some healthy person's life is more important than an elderly person or someone with a heart defect. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying surely it can be managed a bit better, and, you know, let's not all lose our heads over it.
The point I'm trying to make is, if you're, I just find that I'm watching this, and I was saying to the lads the other day, it's like in Ireland, and anyway, it's like we're just going, just say nothing, lads, and we'll see how many get it, and then we'll just tell anybody that gets it to stay at home, and we might ring their friends to see if they've been in contact with them, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me see.
Crazy.
Jella Strubantz says the thing with corona is that it's about double as contagious as the normal flu. That's fair enough. China got on top of it by locking down cities. Italy have locked down Lombardy. Milan is the capital of that region. Shut down. This is serious. Italy where we are now. I don't know what that last bit means, but anyway. Chris Brack says, for Wednesday, I prefer midfield of Henderson, Genie, and either Keita or Chamberlain. I think Fabinho form is too concerned to be risk versus Madrid. I think he 100% starts. We've people on trolleys now without a crisis. This is obviously in Ireland, in hospitals. Yeah, we aren't ready for it. That's why we're just hoping it blows over and see what happens. Maverick says, I think people need to maintain perspective. It's going to be an approach that evolves as if the situation changes for the worse. But I think, listen, if people stop going out and buying fucking toilet rolls, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay, in
the
like
great toilet roll epidemic
by
of
the pallet
2020.
loads, and just wash their hands. Stop hugging people and touching people and lying down with animals,
Yeah,
and wash their hands. I think you'd absolutely fine. You know.
exactly.
Yella Strubant says he needs to change his name on this. I like it. Yella Strubant.
Yeah,
Look, touching on the Bournemouth game, it was an improved performance. I thought. I think we looked
yeah,
like we had more energy. I was delighted to see Mane and Salah both score. Milner came in for Robbo. I think was a good rest for Robbo. I think Milner done quite well, and we
he
battled our
did.
way through to a win. And you could see the let off of emotion from Klopp at the end. Who doesn't like doing this 3 cheers to the cop because the cameraman is literally on his shoulder while he's doing it. But it was a real let off from him as well. What did you think of the performance? Because I thought better, can get better, but was better.
It was better, yeah. And on the Klopp thing, I think he was very frustrated, wasn't he, with the Bournemouth goal and the fact that it was given, and he celebrated. Was it the equaliser or the one to put us ahead? And he's sort of in the lines out of fourth official's face, He knew it was, when stuff like that's going against you. I think it was not getting to him. Getting to him's the wrong way of saying it, but he was a bit incredulous that VAR brought in and we're getting this shy, and to see it lifted was a huge relief, and that maybe got him to the crowd at the end and says, right, it's trying to everything's against us, but we're not going to let it be against us. And it was just getting the crowd back on side, because he's very much, and in some ways I don't like the way he curbs it. He's very emotional and connects emotionally with the fans, and I love to see it. I for one love to see it, you know what I mean? And I don't like when he doesn't do it, that way.
He did say that he regretted his reaction to the equaliser in front of the fourth official. But having said that, and Megan McCallion says it, and Kevin O'Sullivan follows up. Megan says, shocking decision on the push on Gomez. Have you ever seen a worse refereeing performance on Saturday? Says Kevin O'Sullivan. How in the name of Jesus can Callum Wilson run up behind Joe Gomez, who clearly is in control of the ball, push him to the point where Joe Gomez goes 3 feet beyond the ball, and not see that as a foul?
Yeah, and a lot of people were saying, there's not enough contact there, there's not enough contact there. Well, there's contact there, and he puts him off, and he, I don't know what the argument can be. That way, like, it's a foul. It doesn't have to be, he doesn't have to wrestle him to the ground for it to be a foul. And it was baffling. And Klopp was right, and he said it in the press conference when he did apologise. He said he's sure the Bournemouth fellas will see it differently, and I'm sure they do. I'm sure they're like, no, definite, no foul.
Listen, he's behind Gomez, right? He's nowhere near the ball. Gomez is going to play it back to Adrian, and he just puts his arm into him and nudges him. Listen, Joe Gomez isn't doing that of his own free will.
Exactly, and you hear this shit about there wasn't enough contact. Well, it doesn't have to be huge contact to put you off. A slight nudge or anything can put you off. So, foul is a foul. There's no levels or severity. It was a foul and it should have been given. But then VAR isn't really doing its job there. And again, we saw if anyone watched the United City game today, there was a few dodgy VAR ones, and that's so. It's frustrating. That's still frustrating this season.
But you see what you see. I'm not getting into VAR because I've said me bit on it, and I'm not. I'm
a fan of it. It's just the idiots that are looking at it that have the problem with it.
The concept of it is a great idea. The way it's carried out is absolutely not.
Yeah.
But Carl said it was a referee issue for me. Should not even need VAR. Correct.
Yeah.
100% correct. But what I will say is, surely if there's a big roar from the crowd and Gomez is looking, going, what's going on? And maybe the referee is crossing players as he's looking and doesn't see the nudge, just sees Gomez off balance, and next thing they're away playing football. Surely he has to go to someone, or somebody goes to him and says, you need to look at that.
Yeah.
You need to, we believe that's a
You
foul.
can always tell by a reaction, can't you? 9 times out of 10, if there's no contact there and Gomez just makes the balls of it, his reaction is to try and recover. It's not to stand there saying, look, what the fuck's going on here.
Chris Brack says Michael Oliver was the VAR official and he's supposed to be our best official. It was
and he is.
Owen Brooks is not sure how ref and linesman missed the push without even needing VAR to review it. That's the big thing for me. Now, don't get me wrong, all goals are reviewed.
Yeah.
All goals are reviewed. So they will go back to whatever point of the attack, say when Bournemouth get it, right? Because if Bournemouth play that ball up and that hits Callum Wilson on the hand, without
Yeah.
pushing Gomez, and he plays a couple of phases and he scores, they'll take it back and go, well, you handballed her in the build-up 3 phases ago. That can happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So VAR must have looked at it and went, oh, well, the referee thinks it's not a push and we can't really tell the referee
See,
it's not.
it's
See,
all
this
this
is where it's
shit,
going
isn't
from.
it?
Yeah.
Clear and obvious. It's
Yeah.
not clear and obvious, but
Yeah.
it is clear and obvious.
The cop
They just don't want to overrule them on the pitch. They
You see,
don't want to overrule the on-pitch decisions.
we're getting back to the start of the season now because there was
Yeah.
a big furore over this, and then they did start overturning them, and it was
Yeah.
grand. You know, you were looking at it going,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a clear overturn, and they done it. And now they're going back the other way again. The COP Council says hoping Fabinho has a man of the match performance against Atletico to boost his confidence. I think he absolutely plays. That Aguero offside decision in the United game today looked dodgy. Was that his armpit?
Yeah, it was. It didn't even look that close, to be honest. But they're saying that was. It was It was to tie up the fact that they all stopped. You know what I mean? That the United players all stopped. That he said, "Well, fuck it, we better not give this."
Well, you see,
and
you
look
see
for
again,
an easy bleed now.
Well, again, that's wrong. Tell me this and tell me no more. I was kind of watching it going in and out as we were having dinner. But was he offside? When they drew the lines, was he offside?
I couldn't tell.
You couldn't tell?
No, I couldn't tell. He looked onside, but then he looked offside. I don't know.
Right. So
they do the lines whatever way they want to do them. You know what I mean?
See all this stopping stuff and all because they stopped. Go back to Sheffield United against Newcastle earlier on in the season, and there's a ball flicked on, and Shelby runs onto it, and Sheffield United stop. Shelby puts it in the net.
Yeah,
I think it's Shelby.
Should never be stopped. It was Shelby,
and he scored, and they gave the goal.
Yeah,
because he was onside the man that flicked it on.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Carroll, wasn't
the fella goes through on goal and he's onside. You just stop. We're going to say, they stop, lads. That's not fair. Luke says the on-field ref should definitely make the final decision. He should, but all it takes is VAR to say you're wrong. We believe you're wrong. You need to go and look at that. Go and
take a look at it.
Yeah.
That's it. Take a look, and then just go over, have a look at the monitor, and say right, because that's exactly it. You know, it's not like they're saying, "Oh, look, you've made a balls of this." It could be you didn't see that. We've seen a replay. We've the advantage of seeing this slow down, and we think you need to look at that. And he can go and look. At the moment, it's like they're afraid to do it. They're afraid to throw another ref under the bus. It's too much of a click, and I think they need to iron that out before it can really be successful.
Okay. Owen Book says VAR was brought in because the refs were hopeless, yet the same hopeless refs are running it. Yeah, that's fair enough. Kevin Sullivan confirms he was offside. Dylan O'Rourke with an update on Sunday roasts and Sunday carveries. He said he went to the yacht on Sunday, which is in Dublin. For Sunday dinner today, the place is scandalous. Tables like gold dust.
Stop.
Keith with you on that one.
100%.
Linesmen should keep the flag down when it's that tight, said Chris Brack. Well, that's what they should be encouraged to do, and then just let it go back and look at the video, and then nobody stops. Stops. But then you can just take linesmen out of it, you know, because half the time, throw-in decisions that linesmen are putting their flags up for, they're being told by the ref anyway, a little nudge of the head one way or the other, and they're giving it. But look, off the football, it was a good win. You know, it kind of blew the cobwebs away, and of course the happenings of today made it even more sweeter.
Exactly.
But a lot of people, if you want to throw in random questions the last 15 minutes, absolutely go for it. I have one for Keith and I'll start in a minute with it. But a lot of people here mentioning players we should sign. Obviously they're looking beyond this season because the league is more or less wrapped up, but the Champions League is a massive thing as well once the league is done. Somebody said earlier, Bill, they're reporting that we could sign Werner and loan him back. That sounds very strange to me, Keith.
No, what?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit bleeding mental, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd have done that in January. But not now. Now it's, you know...
It's a transfer now.
It's a transfer now. We bring him in the summer. You're not going to be loaning him back anywhere. Yeah, that sounds a bit crazy. I'd say Bill, they're just plucking that one. Or it could be that Sport Bill. They're a bit mad, aren't they? There's two of them in Germany.
Yeah.
I think Build is
the normal
is
fella.
Respectable. And Sport Build is a bit of a mad one. Like it's a bit of a tabloid job. So I reckon that might be a Sport Build job.
Yeah. Avo reckons there should be a dedicated VAR panel, no refs on it, and then relay it back to the ref on the field to make final decision. The problem you have there, Avo, is that you will get people telling you that, well, how can these people that aren't even referees make refereeing decisions? for the sake, I know where you're trying to be impartial and all that, but that's the argument you're going to get, and I probably agree with that. You need professional people that can make decisions. Can you train them up and they're not referees, they're just VAR people on the rules of football? Yeah, absolutely. But you'd have to wait and see. Let me see. Stanley Higgins wants a cheeky punt on Willian as a summer boy. Do you expect Lallana and Klein to go? Yes, I do. Bell and Guy, I really do.
100%.
Let me see. Porgo Collins says that Ronan Murphy bloke is reporting. I don't know who Ronan Murphy is.
What's he reporting? The loaning thing?
It must be a loan thing. If someone wants to go and let us know. Also, we've checked up, and not enough of you have shared this on Twitter. You need to go and do that. Hit the 3 buttons, share it onto your timeline. The people on YouTube are doing a great job, apparently, of liking. So if you are watching, hit the like button. You know how it works. Let me see. Chris Brack says Werner, Kai Havertz, Saka off Arsenal, and a centre back of Lovren leaves. I think there's probably one too many in the Werner, Kai Havertz thing. I think it'll only be one. Owen Burke wants Sancho. I don't know. I think Sancho. I don't know if Sancho comes to Liverpool and is happy to fight for a place in the front three.
And for less money that he will be offered at the likes of United. So I think they're gonna blow the market wide open with wages, not even transfer fee. I think we can match any transfer fee, not a problem. And we can match any wages, not a problem. It's just not the way we're going to operate. So the rumours of United are offering Sancho 350 grand a week, well, that takes us well out of that. And rightly so as well.
Yeah.
Rightly so. Takes us out of that.
But, and don't get me wrong, money's great, right?
Yeah.
Everyone loves money. It's great. But does nobody look at these things like say United or Arsenal? They don't seem to have a plan, right? It's just fire loads of bullets and see what hits.
Yeah.
Right?
Quick fix.
Do people not look around and go, they're just offering me that money because they want me, but they don't know what they're doing. Right? But this team over here are offering me not as much money, but they know exactly what they want to do with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And he can see the I hate the term, but the project, you know what I mean? Like one is, we'll play for KLOPP, constantly doing well in European Cups, constantly doing well in Premier League at this stage as well. This is the team you want to go to, progressive, playing at Anfield. We have everything in our corner for this.
Yeah.
But I just think there's not great as such, but I think the amount of money that gets offered now is head turning.
Yeah. Dylan asked a question there and it's gone off my screen, but please put it back up because it was good. It's gone off my screen though. I might be able to try to find it, but Dylan, if you can just copy and paste that back in, it'd be absolutely brilliant. Let me see. Philip Billing would be my undercover signing. Big fan of the Dane. So is Grizz. Grizz is a massive fan of Philip Billing.
Grizz's favourite.
Grizz's best mate. Werner Neves, Norwich left back, and a left-sided centre back cover for VVD. Well, the Norwich left back could probably play centre half, can't he?
No, Jamal Lewis.
Does he not play left back?
No,
centre back as well.
He's only a left back.
Is he only a left back?
A left back,
okay.
Yeah.
I thought he'd done a bit of centre halving as well.
Doing Nixa? No.
Milot Rashica for 22 million bargain. Don't even know who he is, Lubeck. Don't even know who he is. Kevin O'Sullivan says, I think next season we change system to a 4-2-3-1. We'll have to wait and see. John wants Werner and Havertz is absolutely doable. Both fill big holes. This Havertz fella, right? I've seen him play a couple of times.
Yeah.
When I've watched him, I thought, well, yeah, real prospect. Is he the sort of fella that comes in and plays in the midfield three?
I think he can, yeah. I think he doesn't at the moment. And with Klopp and Klopp's Liverpool, you can focus too much on where they play currently and not can they fit in. Do you know what I mean? It was like Gini was number 10, has played as a box-to-box number 8 and even deeper since we brought him. I think Havertz, when they look at Havertz, they're looking at the key thing I think with him is the amount of ball recoveries he can do. You don't think with that type of player. He gets compared with Ozil a lot for his style of play, but he actually is very good at winning the ball back. And I think if you can do that and you can run, you can get into the Klopp team in the midfield. I think Minamino was another one. People were saying, he's playing as the false nine, but he should be playing in midfield. Well, I don't know. I think he's one that maybe they are looking as a false nine alternative.
Yeah.
You know, the nearly the Swiss Army knife type of players is what Klopp will be looking at. So I'd agree with Havertz and Werner would be two I would look at. I just think the money could be really spicy on Havertz.
Yeah, I think, and it could be, and it will be on Sancho, and Werner looks the most thing. Own book says Ruben Vinagre being the left back of Wolves. I fully 100% agree with you. I think I just the style of play he has. I really like the look of him. Just trying to look at him and Robertson as, because you want someone that can match what Robertson does, and he looks a player to me. I want Bruno Diaz desperately, says Ollie. I don't know who Bruno Diaz is.
I don't know. Is he off Benfica?
I don't know, but he wants him desperately. Ollie, if you want to tell us who Bruno Diaz is, we'll absolutely have a look at it. Is Shaq injured, or what's the crack? He was instrumental at the end of last season. Grizz seems to think there's been a falling out there. I think this injury's going on way too long, and I think you'll see Shaqiri leave the club fairly early into the window. That's my opinion on it.
Never to play again, and the deal to be announced before the window opens. One of them jobs.
Owen Borg says, had we signed Fekir and played him in a midfield three, do you think that might have an effect on Trent and Robertson and the impact he have on the team? I think it might, because I think that the way our midfield is so functional, I think we look for our fullbacks to be the fourth and fifth attacker, and our midfield will do all the dog work. Now, don't get me wrong, if you have a Kai Havertz that people have probably watched 50 times, listen, can he run around and press? Can he tackle? Can he chase people down? Can he do all that sort of stuff and then be just deadly on it as well and get in the box? If he can, yeah, we can do that, no problem. But it has to be a very specific type of player for me in midfield. And that's probably why Kev O'Sullivan's saying we go to a 4-2-3-1. We give that little bit more protection. And, we maybe ask our fullbacks, to be probably what they're doing now, but we're trying to get another fella up the top end of the pitch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It could be what they really tried to do with Keita. If Keita had have been more robust and more reliable, it's something that he might have looked at. Going with not necessarily 4-2-3-1 with the Keita type player pushed up that bit further. And I just don't think, obviously.
See, I think the 4-2-3-1. Keith, I think that ends up with a Henderson, Fabinho, and then I think it's a Firmino in the 10 behind the likes of, say, a Werner with Salah and Mane. That's the way I think that would go.
Yeah.
Pargo Callum wants to give 80 million plus Gruitch for Havertz. People love this Havertz fella. Jono says, Gav, Havertz is quality. Seen him at least 10 to 15 times in the last 2 years. He has an X factor. He can play he can even play as a right winger and a false nine. He has size. He won't be pushed around the Premier League.
Yeah, so Jono, he's quite big.
So what Jono's saying to us there is he can play in the midfield three, but he can also play out in the right, or he can play as a false nine. So he's really good utility wise. Well, you see, if Werner's going to be done and you're picking between Sancho and Havertz, I go for Havertz.
For the money that's being mentioned,
not even for the money.
To me, it's a no-brainer.
The way they both work, I'd go for Havertz, because
if you're looking at Sancho, you're looking at a Salah replacement. I think, because Sancho plays, predominantly off the right.
Yeah. And only Alan Shearer has scored more Premier League goals in his first 100 games than Mo Salah in Premier League history. So why people are looking to replace Mohamed Salah because there's a new shiny thing on the block is absolutely beyond me. Chris Brack says extra goal track creativity is a way to evolve next season. So we turned these 13 wins by one goal this season into more comfortable wins. The argument that could be made is, if you put an extra attacker on the pitch, do you leave yourself more open? And 13 of those one goal wins end up being 5 or 6 draws. There's loads of different ways of looking at it. I have got to the stage, Keith, I don't know about you, where I just sit back and go, wherever Klopp's decides, that's grand.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not going to question it too much, that way.
Right. Few more comments before we lash in the random question for the last 15 minutes. John wants Keita plus 55 or 60 million for Havertz. If we got a big offer for Bobby, do you think it might be accepted, says Ownbrook? No, I genuinely don't. Darren says, do you think Genie will leave after we won the league? May want a different challenge or experience elsewhere. We'll have to wait and see on the contract. A lot of people seem confident that contract will be sorted. Dylan says he has the X factor, but how would he get on on the voice? That, of course, being about Kai Havertz. It's a really good question. Milinkovic Savic looks a player when I've seen him, strength, power and skill. His name's gone around a few times.
Yeah, he's a good player, Milinkovic Savic, but he's one of these. I think he's destined for Juventus, isn't he? Juve or Man United. I think
United
me
were
and
linked from a
Raiola.
good few times. Luke says Salah doesn't get the credit he deserves. Kevin Sullivan says the only thing Havertz doesn't have is raw pace. Klopp loves pace up front, but if you put him in midfield and you can tell me he's as fast as, I don't know, Gini Wijnaldum, for argument's sake, or Oxlade-Chamberlain, and he has all these attributes that everyone's saying, listen, he looks like a player.
But you know who I think he's similar to? I think he's actually similar to De Bruyne. And
Right.
De Bruyne can play centre mid for Man City, so I don't see why Havertz can't. You know, he's quick, but he's not too quick. You know that way, like he's not lightning, but he is able to move across the ground. So I think he could do a job in midfield personally.
Ella likes Our from Leon. A lot of people seem
he's
to like
very
him
good,
as well.
very good.
Jono thinks Mo or Sadio leaves next summer, not this one, the one after, obviously. Midfielder off Brighton looks a carbon copy of Genie yesterday. Didn't see Brighton, so you'll have to give me a name.
Yeah, which one?
Let me see. Megan says need better quality in squad because Salah and Mane will miss 6 games. That's a big thing. Firmino doesn't have pace and Havertz is faster than him, says Porgo Colin. Well, there you go. Random questions. Keith, I make no bones about it. I do a lot of stuff around the house. I love polishing and hoovering and doing all them bits of pieces. I've no issue doing that. Is there one thing in the house, though, that you go, I just hate fucking doing this?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I hate cleaning the windows, right, and that's my sort of job because I live in an apartment on the 3rd floor,
right.
So it's doing the bedroom ones. You know what I mean? I'm not great with heights. You know, when you look over, I grew up in flats and all. And you look over the balcony and you get a bit sketchy when you're up higher. So when I'm cleaning the windows and I'm sort of leaning out, and I get a bit worse for wear at that. So there. You know, I put it off as much as I can.
Did you ever see that thing they have where you can like put something on your window and then you can put the other thing on the outside of your window and it's magnetic and you drag it around the window to clean it?
No.
Never see them?
No.
Do you
must look out.
Yeah, you see them on all these infomercials. It's basically like a square pad, right? And then there's another square pad, but you put one on the inside of the window and then you just reach out the window and line these two up. So they're on opposite sides of the window.
And you do it from the inside?
Yeah, and there's like obviously you put washing liquid or whatever into it, and as you pull it around, it cleans it, and then there's like a piece on it then that goes around and squeezes it. So you don't have to leave.
That could be the future. That could be the answer for me.
You don't have to be hanging out your bedroom window with a harness on.
Yeah. No harness. It's just hanging on by the hands. It's a Bear Grylls job.
Dylan O'Rourke hates doing the dishwasher. Avo hates ironing. Porrick hates cutting the grass. I love cutting the grass.
See, I always lived up in the air, so I don't have grass.
Yeah, but look, I don't have a front. I have parking spaces out the front of my house, but at the back of a decent sized garden. But I did put decking on half of it, so I have an average size bit with grass on it, right? But I go out there now and I'd literally just put my earphones in, lash it up to the highest, and go out and cut the grass or power hose the decking. I love all that.
A bit of you time.
Yeah, Chris Brack hates washing the dishes. Just get a dishwasher. I'll tell you what one I hate. Right now we live in Ireland, so we don't, you know, like when we get a day where it's lovely and dry out and breezy, and you go, "Oh, there's great drying out."
Yeah.
And you're able to put stuff out on the line. Yeah, to dry. It's very rare you get those days in Ireland. You know, if we get a really good day, we nearly call a public holiday for it, right? Yeah. So we have in one of the spare bedrooms, we have one of the spare bedrooms. You swear I had 4 or 5 spare bedrooms. I have one spare bedroom. We have like what we call a clothes horse. Yeah, you know what they are. Right, so I fucking hate going up and hanging clothes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just cannot fucking stand it. I'll hang stuff on the washing line, no problem. But you see this thing?
Is it the noise of the?
No.
My clothes horse has got like, you know, little steel things on it, and maybe
Yeah, it just stands out like, and you just hang the stuff across top, and then you hang it. There's actually bars on the legs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It does me head in, and I'd be nearly cursing the amount of washing we put on. I just want enough washing to put on the top bars. See the bars on the legs? I don't want that on them.
No, too much. If you're having to hang it on the legs, you've too much washing.
Yeah. Owen Walk says cutting the grass is really satisfying. Porrick says he's a half an acre with a push along. He must have a half an acre and he's pushing a lawnmower. Well, yeah, that's fair enough. But plenty of time out there. Stick on podcasts.
Old school, that, isn't it?
I'd love to hear Grizz's pet. It would be something really random. It probably is. Like, he's an absolute head case. If anyone listened to the show the other night where he was going on about the paint, it was absolutely brilliant. I've listened back about 10 times. Chris Brack says he has one of those clothes horses and he hates packing it too. Clothes horses is like a game of twist, are impossible to use. Just genuinely, if I'm in the house and I know I'm putting the wash on and I'm going to hang it up, I just pick about 14 things out of the basket. Nearly count them in. You know what I mean? And then,
see, I live in an apartment and grew up in a flat, so I'm used to clothes horses. We didn't have washing lines, you know what I mean? So I'm a master at them at this stage. I squeeze everything on. Anything that you can hang any little bit of like clothing on gets thrown on.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me as much as it does you.
And my wife likes it to be hung on the clothes horse with the door closed and the window open a little bit. And if you hang something on the landing outside, it's like, oh, we're going to have damp and we're all going to die of pneumonia and all sorts of stuff. So it's a bit mad.
I hope you're happy.
Lubac hates cleaning the fridge freezer. I don't mind doing that.
That's a pox. No,
all you need is a hairdryer.
Yeah, I know.
Genuinely. No. Do you know what to do, right? You have a fridge freezer. There's probably 3 or 4 drawers in it. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So what you do is, see all this put hot water in trays and all that shit. Don't be minding that, right? Get yourself 2 bacon trays out of the oven, right? Yeah. Put one in the bottom tray and put one in the second from top tray. And get yourself a hairdryer. Turn the hairdryer on to middle heat and full fan. And just point it into the fucking fridge freezer. You'll be done in a half an hour. Right, all the water falls down. It goes into 1 or 2 of the trays. You empty them out. You might need a tea towel on the ground outside the door of the fridge. And I swear to God, lads, if the wife goes out for 3 hours and says, "Will you do the fridge freezer?" You get it done in a half an hour. You sit down and chill, and then just before she comes home, you just walk down the hall with your tea towel in your hand, going, "Jeez, just finished that. It was fucking hard." Listen, a hairdryer does it in a half an hour. Darren Sherlock says he's seen that window yoke with the Magna advertised in America in 1980. Looking amazing to a kid, but haven't seen it since. No, it's still going, man. You see them on the infomercials. It's literally, it'd be great for you, Keith.
I need it.
Literally, you just drag it around the window and it just cleans it and squeeges it at the same time. Avo says he uses a mallet and a scraper to do the freezer. You're doing it all wrong. Plug the fucking thing out, leave it for about 15 minutes and just get a hairdryer to it. It just melts everything. Absolutely.
See, I got stitched up. I bought mine and was told it was a frost-free thing that you never have to sort to do that.
Self-defrosting one.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
I have
a self-defrosting one as well, but I've never tried it. But having said that, I think it does work because I have my freezer, new one, about a year and a half, and I don't think I've ever defrosted it. And it's not like the drawers aren't, when it gets really bad, you can't even get the drawers open.
Yeah.
This is just sliding in and out. Yeah, this seems to work, this one. So there you go. Dylan asked a question earlier. If you could choose the size of your partner's breasts, but you had to have a set that matched, what size would you go for? Now, that's a bit sexist because there's a couple of women on this chat. So if they want to go with other body parts, they absolutely can and answer that. But what size would you go for, Keith?
I've got big jugs myself, so I think...
I wouldn't change that.
Yeah, keep it as it is. She's probably looking for a reduction then anyway, because she wouldn't want them like mine. So I think this might benefit my missus more than it will me.
Okay. Yeah, I think the same. Let me see. Cleaning a fish tank. I don't like doing that.
Yeah, bleeding stink, don't they?
Them bleeding goldfish don't last.
No.
No matter how much you look after them.
That's why they stink. Smell the death off them.
Yeah, but they die, right? They die, and people go, didn't feed them enough. Then they don't. Then you feed them. You fed them too much.
Yeah.
The water was this. You didn't change. I was changing water every couple of days here. The fish were just dying.
Yeah, it's a lot of investment, isn't it, in fish? And then too much for the rewards don't pay out at all on them.
And then you have to, like, if it dies and you're sitting there at night watching the telly, it dies and you go, oh, for fuck's sake, the fish is at the dying. And then you have to try run up to the pet shop, replace the fish with a lookalike without your kids noticing, so they don't think the thing has died. You know what I mean? It's mad. Dylan O'Rourke says his missus has 3 freezers. How much frozen produce do you need? What's she doing with 3 freezers?
3 freezers.
Now, I've heard of people having a fridge freezer and maybe a chest freezer out in the shed.
A spare one, yeah.
It's a big family. Is she one of the Waltons or something?
Yeah, or one of these Hannibal Lecter types. Keeps body parts in it.
Oh yeah.
You might want to watch her, Dylan. You might want to check them freezers and just see if there's no bleeding limbs in there or anything.
Yeah. I have a more risky question if you fancy it. Throw it in there. If I don't like it, I won't read it. That's basically it. So, looking forward to Atletico while the people throw in the last few questions. As I said earlier, I think the happenings over the weekend have made Liverpool
Yeah.
click. What do you see for Wednesday?
I think it's going to be a typical European night at Anfield. I think the crowd are going to be up for it. I think the team are going to be, as you say, a little shot in the arm for the team based on what happened this weekend. I think if we want to look at a team selection, I think, right, we know the keeper and the back four, I think, will pick themselves. I think Milner might get a game in midfield now on Wednesday, just for having that sort of cool head. You don't want to be too maybe emotional without Henderson in there. I think Fabinho will play, and I think Gini will play, and then I think the three lads will be up front.
Prediction?
I think we'll win 3-1.
Okay. Kevin Sullivan says that journalist is an Irish lad who covers the Bundesliga for Goal. Never heard of him, either have I. Porrick says when he was 5, he took the fish out of the tank for a minute or two, probably just to have a look at it and say hello. And he put it back in and it died the next day. That shit definitely happens, Porrick.
Yeah.
They're meant to live in water. You know, if I put you in water for a minute or two, you die as well. So it's one of those. Yell. He's gone off there. Yell. He was basically saying fly home from Manchester. On the Tuesday after the parade or supposed parade that's meant to go ahead, hotel in Liverpool or Manchester. Try Manchester. Liverpool is just off the scale in cost for that weekend. It really is. You're probably better off staying in Manchester, and if there's a couple of you sharing a taxi down or whatever, train down, because the cost in Liverpool that weekend, I can tell you, is off the charts. One of the greatest European nights, fingers crossed, is Stephen O'Connor. Could you see 6 to 7 in the summer? Lallana, Shaq, Origi, Wilson, Lovren, Brewster, Chiravella, Adrian, Karius. The squad will definitely need bolstering. It's a lot of people out. You still there, Keith?
Oh yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you just sounded like you pissed off at me there, to be honest with you.
No.
Luback reckons that the 3 freezers she's stocking up for the coronavirus. Apparently the shed is full of drink. So there you go. Let me see. Had my goldfish 11 years.
11 years?
Yeah, and he had 2 for 18.
He
had 2 for 18 years. I went through about 10 goldfish here, and if we had them for 2 months, I was delighted.
You were doing well, yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Sullivan says if we concede, we're in real trouble. Nobody has scored more than 2 against this season. They're a harder game than Barcelona for him. Need a clean sheet. Hendo's fist, says JJ. One thing is they could panic if we score early. I think I'm looking forward to this, and I've kept it off my radar because I was trying to look game by game, but now this is the game. Until this one's over, we don't look for everything, in my opinion. But I agree with you. I think it's going to be one of those European nights where the place is going to be on, like, rocking, absolutely rocking. Especially the way we didn't play well in the first leg. We had a little wobble. What's happened over this weekend? Simeone jumping around like a lunatic over there. Their celebrations afterwards as if they'd won the Olympics. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think they score, but I agree with you. I'm going to go with 3-1 to Liverpool. And I fancy us to score with a defender off a set piece. I don't know if you can go. I don't think if you can get a bet on that, but I'm going to go with that. Start Chiravella Wednesday night for the cracks his own book. That would be no crack. That would be absolutely no crack. Yeah, I do, but that would be no crack. Dylan's question, I can't ask it, Dylan. I'm being honest with you. A lot of people on screen will see it, and they may want to answer it, but I can't read that out. I'm sorry. Luback, I got 1-0 after 90 minutes, and Bobby scores the winner in extra time. Great show. I like that. Ambitious, but I like it. I'm looking forward to seeing Klopp getting his own back on Simeone come Wednesday night. Klopp will feed off what's going on there. They're going to come and they're going to say, right, lads, like Kev said, no one scored twice against us this season. We're going to go in there, and if they score once, we're still in it. And if we score once, they need 3. So, we're confident in that. But I think he's right. I think if we get an early one, they might get rattled, but they might stick to that plan, and then we get another one, and then they have to come out.
I could be wrong. Did they blow a 2-0 lead last season against Juventus? They were 2-0 up in the first leg.
They might have done.
They got beaten in the second leg, something like that.
I think they might have done. Yeah, I think they might have done.
I think all the talk coming out of them is, as being said, the carry on out with Simeone and all the talk about from their president, from Simeone himself in the aftermath of that. It seemed a little bit, I don't know, a little bit small time the way they've gone on. And I'm a huge fan of Atletico and Simeone. I think they're great, and while their style of play isn't, aesthetically the best, it's very effective. But I just think some of the stuff they're saying, and even this stuff with Simeone saying the game should be played behind closed doors, I think there's little cracks starting to come in. I think if we can get the goal early, I think we can really rattle them. And like I said, I think 3.
Luke wants Gomez to score. I'd love to see Gomez get a goal. I want one in the league though. Let's see. Hectic question of a Sunday evening. Sorry, Kev. I think Kev wasn't impressed with Dylan's question. Retro Unlim says yes, Ronaldo hat-trick 3-0 second leg. And Yella says the same, 3-0 Ronaldo hat-trick in the second leg for Juventus against Atletico. But look, I think that's us. I think that's it. The club will be back tomorrow. They're recording tomorrow evening and should be out for you tomorrow night. It should be a really good one. I think it's Andy. I think it's Dicko, Gar, Barry and Robbie are on tomorrow night. So that'll be recorded tomorrow night and out for your listening pleasure, hopefully before midnight tomorrow night as well. I will be back on Wednesday after the game. I think Keith is going to join me after that. Are you, Keith?
Yeah, why not?
And I think Chris Brack is probably on the chat there, and I'm going to ask Chris to come on and talk to me after the game as well, unless he's going to it, but we will sort something out. Kevin Sullivan has Trent to assist and VVD to score. Avo wants to see some dirty tricks if we go 2-0 up. Listen, let's get to the game. Let's see what we put on the pitch and let's see how we get on. But listen, it's going to be one of those nights at Anfield, and whatever happens, happens. As I said at the start, Liverpool are on the brink of their first title in 30 years. Nobody's going to stop them. If City fail to win both their games, we could be champions before playing again, realistically, but I don't think that's going to happen. But if City were to draw at home to Arsenal or at home to Burnley, or lose, they need to lose one of those games.
Yeah,
Liverpool
they need to get 4 points, don't they? They need to get 4 in the next 2.
Yeah, Liverpool could become champions by beating Liverpool at Goodison Park on Monday the 16th of March. People have asked me, do you want to win at Goodison, do you want to win at Anfield? Anfield, to be honest with you, but second best is definitely Goodison. Keith, thanks a million for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always.
Yeah, indeed, same here.
Good stuff. That's been it. Talk to you soon. Over and out.